I remember the exact moment I wanted. I realized my best friend was gone. Not just distant or out of his life, gone for good. It started on a warm summer evening in June 2019 in Sacramento, California. We were sitting on the patio of a small cafe, sipping iced coffee like we had done 100 times before. The sun was low, the sky was glowing orange, and everything felt normal until it wasn't. Hi, I'm Jake Donovan, and this is the story of how my closest friend became my worst nightmare, and how a series of small, almost unnoticeable clues helped me survive something I didn't see coming. We met in college. He was Daniel Reyes, charming, smart, always helpful. Everyone liked Daniel. We were assigned as roommates our freshman year, and by graduation, we were inseparable. After college, we both stayed in Sacramento, sharing an apartment, working, and talking about starting a business together. He had a stable job at an insurance company. I was freelancing as a graphic designer. We didn't have a lot, but we had trust, so I thought. Things began to shift in early 2019. Daniel seemed stressed, constantly on his phone, ducking out of conversations. When I asked if something was wrong, he brushed it off. I thought it was work pressure, or maybe something personal. But what I didn't know was that Daniel was drowning in debt, nearly $80,000 deep. Credit cards, personal loans, and worse, he had borrowed money from people who weren't exactly known for being patient. Still, he never told me, not a word. One day in April, he came to me with a proposal. He wanted to get life insurance for both of us as a business precaution, since we were planning to launch a creative agency together. He made it sound smart and protective. If something ever happens to one of us, he said, at least the other won't be left hanging. I hesitated. I wasn't comfortable with the idea, but he was persuasive. Even offered to pay my premiums for the first year. What I didn't know then was that he made himself the sole beneficiary on my policy, something I missed in the fine print. That was the first red flag, but there were others. Our apartment door, usually locked, I'd find slightly open at night. My food tasted off just slightly metallic. My keys went missing one day, only to reappear a week later in a drawer I never used. My cat, Snowball, became sick suddenly. The vet said it was something he ingested. Then, in early June, I was driving home late from a client meeting when my brakes failed completely. I managed to avoid a serious incident by steering into a ditch. The mechanic said the brake lines were tampered with. It was reported to the police, but there were no leads. That night, as I sat in the emergency room with a mild concussion, it hit. Someone wanted me out of the picture, and I had a terrifying suspicion who it might be. I played it cool. I didn't confront Daniel. Instead, I started watching him closely. His phone calls, his late-night outings, the way he kept glancing at my insurance paperwork left on the counter. Then I found the text messages. He had left his phone unlocked. When he stepped into the shower, I didn't mean to look, but something told me to. There they were, texts to someone named Ellis discussing final steps, the deadline, and chillingly, it's done. He'll be gone by the weekend. I took photos of everything. I knew I couldn't stay in the apartment. That night, I pretended to be sick and left to stay with my cousin. I actually went to a hotel across town. The next morning, I contacted a private investigator. Yes, I went that far. I needed evidence. I needed the truth. Over the next 2 weeks, I worked with the investigator and, eventually, the authorities. They discovered Daniel had taken out multiple life insurance policies on me through different providers, all with forged documents. He had even searched online for undetectable poisons and how to stage an accident. The final piece came when he met with an individual who turned out to be an undercover officer posing as someone offering to help with a plan. He was recorded discussing how it needed to look like an accident. Daniel Reyes was arrested in July 2019 and charged with multiple offenses, including fraud and conspiracy. He denied everything at first, claiming it was a misunderstanding, but the evidence was overwhelming. In court, he sat stone-faced as the prosecutor laid out the story how he had planned to eliminate me and collect over $500,000 in insurance. His defense tried to argue stress and desperation, but the jury didn't buy it. He was sentenced to 25 years in prison. I was there when the verdict was read. He didn't look at me. In hindsight, there were signs, small, almost unnoticeable signs, that if I had recognized, things could have been very different, and I want to share them with you. Maybe if you recognize them too, you can protect yourself against something you don't even see coming. I think it's important to start with the obvious. Trust your instincts. When something feels off, investigate. Don't ignore those little voices. It's not always easy. Life gets complicated. Emotions sway us, but if something is making you uncomfortable, there's probably a reason. Second, knowledge is power. Be curious. Ask questions. Understand the details. I signed those life insurance papers without thinking twice. A big mistake. If I had read that document carefully, I would have seen that I was putting my entire financial future in Daniel's hands. Daniel had complete control. If I had known, I wouldn't have signed. Third, observation matters. Pay attention to your surroundings. 2 changes, 2 new behaviors. When I noticed my car's brake line was cut, I should have connected the dots faster. Was this a coincidence or part of a pattern? Had Daniel been targeting me? Recognizing patterns helps you anticipate risks. Fourth, communication is vital. Talk to people, share concerns, seek advice. Talking to a trusted friend or family member could have given me a different perspective. It might have helped me see things more clearly when I was caught up in Daniel's web. Fifth, documentation is key. Take notes, save emails, keep records. When I saw those suspicious text messages on Daniel's phone, I should have saved them as evidence right then. Documentation can make a huge difference when you need to prove what happened. And finally, proactivity saves lives. Don't wait for things to reach a crisis point. If you feel you're in danger, act. Reach out to authorities, friends, anyone who can help. When I decided to move out of that hotel and go to a safer place, I was taking a step to protect myself. Looking back, I know I missed crucial signs. I trusted too much, didn't ask enough questions, and didn't connect the dots fast enough. But I want you to learn from my experience. Recognize these signs, question everything, and most importantly, believe in your own judgment. Daniel is behind bars, but sometimes justice isn't enough. I still have nightmares about that time. I still wonder what could have been, but I'm also grateful for the second chance I got. The chance to tell my story and hopefully help someone else avoid the darkness that nearly consumed me.